My name's Vaile, and I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. I have been in recovery since March of 2010.
Well, thank you, Vaile, so much for taking the time. I know you're working and you still came out to share your story with us. I really appreciate it. So we'll start right at the beginning of your story,
Okay.
Your childhood. So can you talk about your childhood? Tell me what it was like, and did you experience any kind of trauma?
So I am the middle child, totally fit the whole, like, how people describe the middle child. I am one of three girls, and my parents stayed together, but my dad always worked, my mom was always working. I was the entertainer to get, everyone's attention. I did experience trauma at a very early age, probably one of my first memories. We think I was probably about 3 years old, and it was a cousin. So that really was frightening, obviously. And I still vividly remember, which, as they say, is really way too young to remember things, but I remember what I remember.
Right.
So, and it manifested early on. Like, I found ways to medicate. Definitely eating was the first kind of item I used to for relief.
Right.
So I started using, oh wait, you didn't ask that, sorry.
It's okay. You can go. So when was the first time that you
12.
started experimenting? Okay.
I was 12, and I remember it was weed, and it was the summer before 6th grade. And I immediately fell in love, and it wasn't even like, I don't even think I got high. It was more just like feeling a part of, feeling like I was doing something dangerous.
Right.
So that plays a big part throughout my use history. But anyways.
Yeah, no, I can definitely relate to that. Just that rebellious, trying to be older than what you are, and showing the world that in a way. So let's talk about high school for a minute. So was it getting worse in high school?
So in 7th grade, I got kicked out. Catholic grade school. I brought weed to school because I was going to be a drug dealer. And I mean, that is in 7th grade. And so I got kicked out for a year and a half. And then I went to, a Catholic high school. So I went back after doing public school. They all thought I was like this drug dealer that had come to this public school, which was hilarious because I think that's also a theme in my history, is like this Jekyll and Hyde. Like, I totally can just live this whole like other life so this can look so, like good and everything like that, but I'm like, and I got, that gave me something too.
Right. So you went back to high school. Did you sell drugs?
I like the first year, party, they gave me an ultimatum to like either go to like, they knew, and they did offer treatment. Like, they had a program for young people, and in Nashville, Tennessee, like, the young people were strong in the late 90s. So I originally got sober December of 1996. Relapse is a part of my story, but I know many people that I originally got sober with that are still sober.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
Yeah, my journey is just a little different.
Right.
Yeah.
How old were you then?
I was 16.
16.
Stayed sober for 8.5 years.
Wow.
Sober through college. Graduated college sober. Met a guy at a Icky Paw conference in Estes Park, Colorado. So it was the International Conference of Young People. And we met and took hostage of each other. He moved up from Atlanta. And we both graduated college and then got married. Got a house, had a cul-de-sac. I mean, I honestly thought, I'm an adult now.
Yeah.
I've graduated college. I have a house with a picket fence. And I started using, I think the first thing I used was weed, and then drank, and then this time, got into some harder drugs. And within a year and a half, was back in treatment. So it was like really hard. And I knew when I made that decision to like take it to the next level, it was just going to go. So it was like this kind of self-destruction.
So how were your relationships impacted in that year and a half?
So I had cheated on my husband, and I told him. So I went to treatment. He took me back. We got pregnant, and he left me when I was 8 weeks pregnant and probably not even a year sober. And so I walked through that, and I had my daughter, and then I got some prescription pills from the delivery, and I was off again with it because it was just, again, trying to medicate.
Right. So you've always really dealt with addiction in some way or another.
Yes.
You were sober for 8 years, had your daughter, and then you started using again.
Yep.
So when did it really kind of consume your entire life when it took over again this time?
So, and I'm also very aware that, like, for some reason from, like, October until the spring is a really difficult time for me. And so, again, like, I was still going to meetings and, like, keeping it. And then I started doing harder drugs. And then within, I guess, 7 months, I was, should have been homeless, but I was working everyone, like, to make it work money-wise. And 99 pounds. Going into treatment again.
So this is after 7 months of using?
Yep.
Wow.
2 DUIs in 3 weeks. I was completely blacking out. I and there are miracles on the way. Like I should have,
So think back 2 weeks before you got sober.
Yep.
And can you talk about those days, what it was like? What was your turning point?
I think it was the second DUI. I'd blacked out. I had taken in to the, I guess I had it in my pocket. I was in jail. They were booking me. They pulled out an 8-ball of cocaine, and I never got charged with it. It disappeared that night. I don't know what they did with it, but I didn't get charged with it. I knew at that point that, I was either going to kill somebody. Everyone had left me. I was alone. I was cold. I was hungry. And I felt so fragile. I mean, I felt like I was going to die.
Yeah.
I don't think I knew the severity. I mean, I knew, but I didn't really know. I did not know that I was gray and bruised. And, 99 pounds, that's not good.
Right.
And I thought everything was okay, too.
Right.
And it was just this back and forth.
Where was your daughter?
So she was no longer around. I had totally abandoned her. So she was at her father's house, and it was really bad.
So when is your sobriety date?
It is February the 17th, 2010.
2010. Okay. So 11 years?
Yeah. So,
wow.
yeah, it's been 11 years.
11 years.
I have, she's going to be 14 in December. I've remarried. I have another daughter. She's 7. I'm like, PTO. It's just really funny. Some of the stuff. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's
I say
amazing.
go, I'm like,
Right.
go from that to PTO.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So, what do you do today after 11 years to maintain your sobriety?
So I think it's working with the newcomer, and thankfully I do work in the recovery field, the treatment field, recovery housing, and so that feeds me a lot, but it has, I have to also balance self-care and all of that other stuff they talk about, and it ebbs and flows. I would love to say that it's always great, but
Yeah. The balancing act, it's crazy.
And I think also a big thing is just not getting caught up in that. I need to remember where I came from.
Yeah, for sure.
And as you move on, it's it's harder to remember all of it.
Right.
I still remember that day.
Right.
Yeah.
So you talked about it a little bit, but what dreams have come true for you, and what hopes do you have for your future?
a big dream is the relationship with my daughter today and the relationship with her father. I mean, a lot of relationships have healed, and that is a dream. I mean, that is a dream come true.
For sure.
Family trusting me, and that, I remember when it happened, when my sister was like, you can watch the kids. I mean, it's those little things.
I absolutely agree. So what about your future?
So I am working towards getting my license to be a drug and alcohol counselor. I actually take the test in January, and I'm nervous, because I hate tests, but I'm ready to, do that. And I want to help women and continue to, work in the recovery housing, because I did it and I believe in it.
Mm-hmm. Me too. So. And I'm sure you will. Can you describe a certain feeling that you have received through sobriety that was not there in active addiction?
This is the first thing that popped into my head. When I used to walk in my daughter's room when she was probably about 18 months old, and to watch her sleep, and just like the feeling I got from that, because when Emma was that age, I was not able to really fully be present to that. And so that was just a profound moment for me.
Aww.
Yeah,
So
it was.
And what are some intangible and tangible gifts that you have received in
So
sobriety?
that's definitely intangible.
Yes,
but tangible, we have a house today, I have a car, my credit's better. Those items, like, I'm more responsible human being.
Right.
Those to me are important. And the intangible, it's just those relationships that I have today. I just got back from a trip with my mom and my sister, and to just fully be present and be there. My mom is now sober through my I'm not the only reason, but I was there for her. Those are gifts that there's no monetary value.
For sure. Where'd you guys go?
We go to Hilton Head. I've been going there since I was 7 years old, and I will live there someday.
Aww.
I manifest that so much, because it's just my happy place. It's a beautiful.
Well, I'm sure you can definitely do that.
Oh, I'm definitely going to do this.
That's so cool. All right, so what have you learned from your addiction?
That I am completely powerless once I get in it. That first drink or that first whatever, it's over.
Yeah. Right.
And I have to remember that, because you get in your head and you think, well, I can outrun it this time or outdo, and that is just has to be smashed. I have to be fully aware of how my brain functions. It wants to take me out.
Insane.
And anything good for me, I do not naturally lean into it. I just don't, for many reasons.
Me neither.
So, yeah.
All right. So is there any words of hope that you would like to share with somebody trying to get sober?
Just don't give up. I know that's kind of oh God, please. And I think another one is, and this has taken a long time to kind of start to really believe, is that I am no longer that woman. And so when I'm going into new relationships or new friendships, and I start going into that shame, that I'm not that person. So I don't have to that doesn't define me. It maybe I'm a strong person, but I'm not a bad person.
Exactly.
I think that's a big one.
Yeah.
I'm not a bad person.
Exactly. And people get confused sometimes, but that's exactly what you said. So true. Well, Vaile, thank you so much for coming out. Is there anything that I didn't ask that we missed that you wanted to share with us? Okay. Well,
thank you.
We really, really appreciate it. I love your energy and your story, and congratulations on 11 years.
Thank you.
You're an amazing,
Thank
amazing
you.
woman.
Thank you.